we shall hand over to you, General and Mr.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. The United Democratic Movement welcomed the decision of the Speaker to grant its request for a secret ballot when the National Assembly votes on the motion of no confidence in Mr. Zuma tomorrow. When the UDM made this request in April, we knew very well that she has not only the right, but also a responsibility to act and act responsibly. We hope that all the 400 members of the National Assembly will put South Africa first and vote in favor of the motion. We must also stress that the vote tomorrow is about saving South Africa from an irredeemably corrupt president. Finally, any member who is threatened, either by his or her party or any other person, is now covered both in terms of voting method and in law. It is time for public representatives to be honest to their oath of office and South Africa, irrespective of a political party one comes from. Thank you.
Fellow South Africans, we believe today's judgment is a historic judgment. Today's judgment safeguards and brings a victory to the Constitution of the Republic and the supremacy of the rule of law. Today's decision by the Speaker of the National Assembly gives us the best opportunity to start to set South Africa in the right direction. South Africans will be gathering outside here tomorrow in their tens of thousands when they come to demand the removal of Jacob Zuma. Earlier on, we met as leaders of opposition parties to give voice to that particular call by the people of South Africa that they need a new beginning, they need an opportunity to remove corruption from the top of South Africa, to remove Jacob Zuma, who has sold South Africa to other forces. Jacob Zuma has already been found to have violated the Constitution. And what is clear is that whilst before the ANC could rely on tactics where they could intimidate or in fact insist that members vote in a particular way, tomorrow the secret ballot gives an opportunity for members, particularly those, regardless of whichever party they come from, who have been intimidated, who have been threatened. Some were already offered bribes. That in fact it's an opportunity for them tomorrow to freely and fairly exercise consciousness, which is the stance that the South African Constitution gives when we take an oath of office as members of Parliament. It gives also an opportunity for those who have spoken out publicly to say they have had enough of Jacob Zuma, that tomorrow it's the best opportunity for them not just to stop at words, but to exercise their voice in a secret ballot. We welcome the ruling by the Speaker. We believe that it indicates always that working together we can achieve more. And therefore, as a natural result of that, tomorrow the march with the opposition will begin at 10 o'clock in Kaisergracht. We'll make our way here. We will come in to vote. I don't think my vote is a secret. I can't speak for other people. But it is clear that we maintain that Jacob Zuma is unfit to hold the highest office in South Africa. I want to urge all members tomorrow to say, let us place the interests of the 58 million South Africans first tomorrow when we vote, and not subject them to the will of one person. And so thank you to all the members who are here and the work that has happened. And tomorrow, on the 8th of the 8th, in the 8th motion, we then continue to make sure that Zuma must be removed on behalf of the millions of South Africans. Thank you.
Commander-in-Chief. Well, we welcome the decision of the incoming acting president of South Africa, because once Zuma is removed tomorrow, Baleka will be acting president on the 9th. and therefore I think she realized that she stands a good chance of acting for 30 days and then took a decision in favor of a secret ballot. We are convinced that the ANC members will do the right thing. It is now an opportunity for them to demonstrate that they too are tired of corruption which is happening in this country. And tomorrow they've got no reason to hide behind any form of intimidation or accusation. So we've fought for all members, not only of the ANC, including other opposition parties who have been intimidating their members and forcing them to vote for President Zuma. So this is a victory to the opposition, this is a victory to South Africa, this is a victory to the Constitution. Our Constitution, our democracy is indeed working. We are talking to members of the ANC, and we are not going to stop talking to members of the ANC until an announcement is made. The lobbying will end when they announce that Zuma is no longer the president. If Zuma wins, we will continue to talk to members of the ANC until they get it right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Groenewald.
Ek dink die besluit is in die eerste plek dat daar nog hoop vir demokrasie en integriteit van die parlement. Daar was net een rasionele besluit wat geneem kon word en dit is die besluit dat dit 'n geheime stemming moet wees. If I said that, I also want to emphasize that tomorrow the ANC members have an opportunity to also prove to South Africa that they can also take rational decisions. And there is only one rational decision when it comes to the motion, and that is to support the motion of no confidence. And therefore, we appeal to the members of the ANC, because they have the final decision to do the right thing and be rational. Having said that, we must be careful not to be so sure that we're going to have a new president on Wednesday. In a certain sense, the fact that the Speaker made the decisions he made can also be seen that they are sure that the people will toe the party line to say that it is in the interest of the ANC and not for the President as such. So we must be careful as far as that is concerned, but I hope that when the people of South Africa gather tomorrow morning here outside of Parliament, that the ANC members of Parliament will take note and do the rational thing to vote for the motion of no confidence in President Zuma, because that will be the final hope to save South Africa.
Reverend Monsieur? Yeah, I'm come this way. Well, like all other political parties, opposition parties that are here, we welcome the decision that was made by the Speaker to grant members of Parliament the right to vote according to their conscience. We are delighted that rationality has prevailed. We are delighted that people have an opportunity to see whether members of Parliament all have consciences. Because those who will vote against the motion in support of the President will be saying to the public, our consciences are dead. So we are hoping that those with clear consciences, those who know that it is important to put South Africa before a political party, are going to support the motion today, tomorrow, and then that on Wednesday we'll be talking about something wonderful that has happened in the country, that we have a new president. We are looking forward to changing President Jacob Zuma, because he has let us all down in a number of ways. It is time for him to be voted out of office, and we are hoping that tomorrow will be the day, because we have members of Parliament that have been given the right to vote according to their conscience. So, members of the ANC, you have nothing to fear if your conscience is alive. Tomorrow vote in support of the motion of no confidence in President Jacob Zuma. Thank you, Mr. Singh of the IFP.
Thank you. The Reverend is bowing out for me. Well, as the IFP, we certainly welcome the very rational decision taken by the Speaker. As you are aware, we were one of the respondents in the Constitutional Court case that was started by the UDM, and we're glad that it has ended in this manner here. But however, we want to say that the work has only started, because what's going to be very important for us, and we've already taken a decision as opposition parties and as chief whips, to write to the chief whip of the ANC to request an urgent meeting tomorrow morning so that we can discuss procedure, exactly how the secret ballot is going to take place, because we know that it may be possible for certain people to know who voted how if they work on certain procedures. So it will be very, very important for us to agree on procedure. Secondly, we know the chief whip of the ANC had indicated that if this motion of no confidence succeeds, it will be a nuclear bomb on the country. Well, sometimes these bombs have a cleansing effect, and we hope tomorrow we'll be able to cleanse the country of graft and corruption and put it on the correct path, and that the Speaker would be the acting president on Women's Day on the 9th of August, moving forward until we elect a president within the next 30 days.
Thank you. Mr. Lekwa, the president of COPE.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Congress of the People, we welcome the decision of the Speaker. There have been times when we have been extremely critical of the Speaker, but on this occasion we have to say this is the only right decision that any Speaker, man or woman, would have made. There's no other one that could have been made. It places the responsibility of the outcome of the motion of no confidence squarely on the shoulders of the men and women who sit in the National Assembly. If the majority among us votes for corruption, it can't be blamed on her. And if the majority vote for clean governance, etc., it would be again a responsible accountability on the part of the National Assembly. So we welcome this outcome fully. As far as we are concerned, this is groundbreaking. It places our democracy on a route in which there can never again in future be a doubt for any speaker as to what do you do when you have to defend members of the National Assembly, indeed even members of the Council of Provinces. Any speaker there must be loyal to the provisions of Section 58, which is what this decision of the Speaker is. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we may take some few. This is a different press conference. It's not like that one where you are not allowed. Here you are allowed, but just be short and straight to the point. Your name and media?
Let's keep it here. You are missing 5 other opposition parties here. You would obviously also need their participation to vote alongside with you, meaning you need more ANC votes. Are you disappointed that you don't have any of the other parties here with you today?
No, I think perhaps one must say that some of our sister parties are not here, but they send us apologies as why they were not here. We know that that is so, and when the right time comes, they'll be able to. For instance, Akhang South Africa made it clear that they support what we're doing here. They were unfortunately not able to be here, and that we must say that on their behalf.
And I think the question of conscience is not a question just for the ANC. It's a question for all 400 members who will be here. So I think when we've liaised and sought to engage the various parties, there's been a strong interest in saying we stand. Remember, there have been multiple marches all across. There were marches to the Constitutional Court, there were marches in Tshwane, there were marches, even tomorrow there will be marches. And many of the respective parties that you are talking about, I would believe, in fact know, that they will be part of those marches. Because tomorrow the choice is quite simple, actually. It's a choice between whether you stand with Jacob Zuma or you stand against Jacob Zuma. It's as simple as that choice. You stand for the interest of South Africa or you don't. So I think tomorrow, many parties who have communicated to the respective parties feel a very strong confidence in saying they want to come and vote in support of the motion.
Thank you very much, my sister. Your name in the media house.
Hello, sir. I'm Chantal Presence from the African News Agency. Now, Mr. Mtembu, he was speaking about all their parties will vote against this motion, and they're pretty confident. You guys think that's false confidence?
No, it's false confidence, because how he can never know how many members will vote which way, unless he can say he's bribed all of them. And we have to say, in the last election, some 69 members of the House did not vote for President Zuma. They didn't vote for the opposition either. None of us knows, as we are here, where their emotions lie. And that is because of this intimidation of members of caucuses of different parties. Not only the governing party, but also in the opposition ranks. There are those situations. People have misconstrued this drive for secret ballot as if it's only for the African National Congress. Yes. This is completely wrong. There are sister parties in the opposition ranks which are divided down the middle, and they too are going to benefit from this decision of this of the Speaker. And I thank you.
But also that Jackson did not support a secret ballot. Zuma did not support the secret ballot. So effectively the ANC did not support the secret ballot. And Baleka went against the party line. So if Baleka goes against the party line, what stops an ordinary member of parliament of the ANC to go against the party line in secret? Baleka went against the party line publicly. And let's see what the ANC will do to her. Because they said they are going to act on anyone who goes against the party line. Baleka went against the party line. So if you are a member of the ANC and you are scared to go against the party line, you saw it is possible with Baleka. Nothing will happen to her. Baleka was not reading a press statement there. That's why she couldn't take questions. She was reading a legal opinion. Every lawyer she went to told her you've got no any other way. This is the only option you have. And she couldn't answer any question because those were not her views. If it was according to her and the ANC, secret ballot was not going to happen. So she went against the party line and against their own wishes. So those guys of the ANC, they are going to vote according to their conscience. Some of them even said, we can do it even if the vote is open. So what stops them to vote in secret? So we are more than confident that we'll get the desired numbers from the ANC and from all other parties, because President of COPE is right. There are other opposition parties which were threatening other members to vote for President Zuma. So it's not only for the ANC.
How much do you have in the pocket now?
Thank you very much. Last questions? Let's hear you there, Tina.
Just two quick questions. One is for Mr. Malema. I understand, if I remember correctly, you have a separate court process that is about starting a process of impeachment. Are you feeling confident enough now that you have a secret ballot that you would even withdraw that particular process? Because there won't be a need for impeachment if you're going to succeed.
You're right. If we succeed, there is no impeachment. Why would we impeach a president who's voted out?
Then my second question is for the other opposition leaders. I saw an incarnation of the argument that says, from the EFF and the UDM, that says this is not against the ANC, it's against Jacob Zuma, and you would not support anyone who stands, in the way of the ANC, putting whoever they want. Can you guarantee here that you all support that argument, that should the motion succeed, you would not be fielding candidates for
we don't support the ANC. That's why we are in the opposition. We don't support the ANC. We oppose the ANC. We want to remove the ANC from power. But as things stand now, the ANC has won elections in 2014, fielded its president, and we didn't contest that president at the time because we understood that the people have given the ANC a mandate. So we will contest elections, we will win elections, we will field our president. From the EFF side, we will not field any president. Neither are we going to support any president from the ANC or from the opposition. So we are not going to field anyone. The ANC has got the required majority. If it has got men and women among themselves who are qualified, let them do so. We are not presenting a motion of no confidence in Parliament against the ANC. We are presenting a motion of no confidence against the president. So anyone who's going to be fielding a president there doesn't have our support. But remember, presidents are elected by Parliament. Anyone who will be fielding a president will be exercising their democratic right. They have a right to do so. But the EFF will not be doing that, and the EFF will not be supporting anyone.
Can I just, in response to this issue, firstly, I mean, I think we must deal with the process of tomorrow. Our stance has always been that what is in the interest of South Africa, and it's not the objective of tomorrow, is to remove the ANC out of power. That issue we are not going to shy away from. We believe that the best thing for South Africa is to bring change, but that change must take place democratically with the people out there so that they can give expression to this view. And if tomorrow the ANC vote, they must vote to decide whether they have to defend corruption or not. We will not stand with that. And from where I sit, we are not going to even solve the problems of the ANC on the floor of Parliament. Let them, we put an interim structure, we make sure we can get closer to an election so that we can ensure that we begin afresh for South Africa. That'll be better.
No, I do want to add on this point. The reason we are moving a motion of no confidence is because the present leader has failed on all accounts. If there's presented to the House a candidate that we agree and support, we'll support such a candidate. But if it is presented to us a candidate who's got a track record of supporting corruption and all these violations of the Constitution and the undermining of the Constitution, who preaches that the ANC or any political party is above the Constitution, sorry, we will not support such a leader. We want a leader for these people of this country who will respect the Constitution of this country and who will not subscribe to these corrupt activities that are going on. Certainly these Gupta things must all be uprooted and kicked out.
Thank you very much. You can have time.
I want to put it quite clear. The Freedom Front Plus will not support any candidate for presidency from the ANC. No one. And you must also remember that if the motion of no confidence succeeds tomorrow, then in the end the ANC will say, but it was they themselves who removed their president, because without the ANC we will not succeed. And it's quite clear that they will then unite around a new candidate for the ANC, but the Freedom Front Plus will not support that.
Thank you very much. Can we provide you an opportunity to speak to the leaders outside this press conference, or it's very important you want to ask the question now and not outside this press conference? Kalata?
No, I'm happy with one-on-one, sir.
You are happy with one-on-one? You are happy with one-on-one? Okay. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
What are we?
Well, there we have it. The leaders of the opposition movement joining forces and united behind against Jacob Zuma, rather. And they're basically saying that Baleka Mbete, who is the Speaker of Parliament, is actually the incoming acting president of the country, and we saw opposition parties united against one man. But then it's very interesting to see. It will be very interesting to see whether their victory will be short-lived, bearing in mind that the vote is actually tomorrow, and the jury is still out how the members will vote tomorrow. But is their celebration really short-lived? And the ANC is actually on record saying it will vote against the motion of no confidence, as it will never allow outsiders to determine its business. We are likely to see this narrative unfold tomorrow, and interestingly from members of the same ANC. And this could be the death of the ANC. And whether this will happen or not, let's now cross over to the Professor Lesiba Tifo, who is in Pretoria. Hello again, Professor. We now cross back to you. We've seen the opposition movement uniting against one man. What does that signal? What does that tell you about South African politics?
It takes me back to the response I gave you earlier on. What have I done as Jacob Zuma to succeed in uniting the opposition parties in parliament, and indeed to unite the people of South Africa across the political spectrum and across the color line, right? And what have I done indeed to alienate members of my executive and members of the legislature? These are the questions that he should be grappling with. Even his immediate advisors should be grappling with. That a moment of reckoning has come. But if he were to look back in all honesty, he would know exactly where he started to go wrong. And there is sufficient evidence, including the pronouncement by the highest court in the land, that he has violated his oath of office. But I looked with pride, immense pride, and members of the opposition who are standing up to say, our founding fathers had a vision, and that vision was crystallizing in the past 15 years. But the past 7 years, indeed, we were faltering. But it behoves us, and it is within us, as agents of change, to stall, to halt, and to change the trajectory the country is taking. I'm immensely proud of them.
Julius Malema says on Wednesday, Baleka Mbete, the Speaker of Parliament, will become the acting president. He's very confident there, but then we don't know what the outcome of tomorrow's vote will be.
Well, if that were to happen, then the marches in 1955 by the women against freedom indeed would not have been in vain. And indeed on a very, very special day, the 9th, Women's Day, right? That would be very special. And if you push me a little further, I would say, maybe the ANC might say, is it not prudent and expedient to allow him to act until the end of 2019, when we allow at least Cyril Ramaphosa, assuming he wins in December, and I think he will win, that he canvasses and he work on damage control of the party to a point where confidence can be restored and lead to a possible victory in 2019. I think it's a scenario and an option worth considering. It has happened when Mbete was recalled. His Excellency Kgalema Motlanthe was appointed. And I suspect this is an option that could be worthy of consideration. Allow Mbete to run a full course until the end of 2019, while Ramaphosa is doing some damage control. There might be some dividends to be drawn out of that scenario.
Now, the Speaker, Professor, has started a precedent which I would say is very adverse to the ANC. I mean, being a senior figure within parliamentary structures and being a senior figure within the ANC, we know that she's in the ANC NEC top 6. Surely she has stepped out of the party line, as it were, and this will give the necessary liberty and the leeway for the members of parliament in the ANC benches to vote in favor of this motion.
And I wonder why we should describe it as adverse. Because indeed, it's about the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. It's about the national flag. It's about the aspirations we had in 1994 when we made those long meandering queues to vote for the ANC, right, at that time. And the ANC is faltering. And members of the ANC are telling us that much. The people on the ground are telling out that much. And not because they hate the ANC, but because they love the ANC, and some of them indeed, they love their country much more than the ANC. So it is a bit unfair to say it's an adverse decision that may make people deviate from the party line. And an unjust instruction doesn't hold at law. And thou shalt not act contrary to your conscience, especially when matters of national interest are at stake. Your country calls upon you, as Garibaldi once said, and heed that call. History will judge you kindly. Not your party, not your family, not your opponents, but history and posterity will judge you kindly.
And we see a growing number of ANC members deviating from the so-called party line, and Baleka Mbete being the latest member to deviate from this party line. So should this motion of no confidence pass tomorrow, Makosi Khoza's detractors within the ANC will surely be left with egg in face.
And I suspect they might be limited, those detractors, by the way. They might be limited. Some people may not be open, frank, and vocal, as she is. But remember, there isn't much new that Makosi Khoza is saying. We had Madala Rodlich, Ronnie Casseres, Paulo Jordan, Raymond Sadna, and many others who said what she is saying today. I know there are people like Feinstein who took positions in relation to the arms deal. Govender, who voted as a sole member against the arms deal, right? Because his conscience prescribed to him that the right thing was what was supposed to be done. I don't fault those who have not done it then, but I'm merely saying this is the most opportune moment. And indeed, the esteemed Speaker of Parliament has made it possible for you to follow your conscience with minimal or no consequences at all. Let me dare you and say, if 30 people tomorrow were to vote against the party line and the JZ still wins, I doubt if they will really have the courage of their convictions and act on the threats that they've made, that they will be removed. I doubt, because that will also have serious consequences on the future of the organization.
Yeah,
it's a double bind for them.
Yeah, and the ANC is on record saying that it will vote against this so-called motion because it can never allow outsiders to determine its business. Now, we're likely to see this narrative unfold tomorrow. And interestingly, Professor, from the very same members of the very same ANC. This is the death of the ANC, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but remember, worry not about what the politician says. I'm a senior student of political studies and political science. I don't put so much a premium on what they say, because they are quick to change. And they can look in the face and say, but remember what we said when we were in private is not necessarily what we'll say when we are in public, or vice versa. So I'm saying, don't be surprised on Monday. I mean, on Wednesday, either the motion is carried, that you'll find we will find courageous men and women from the ruling party who would say, I'm disappointed that my own acted as they did. Everybody would say it was necessary, and indeed, it gives us an opportunity to regroup, self-correct, and move on. And I say, yes, indeed, it is very, very possible. 2 years, it's a long way to go. The ANC can still self-correct and regain, to some extent, the moral high ground and the confidence of the people that can give them another 10 in 2019. It is upon them if they want to carry that. But if they act otherwise, I suspect that would be the beginning of the end.
All right. Professor, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. That was Professor Lesiba Tibo speaking to us live from our Pretoria studios, just dissecting what the declaration that Baleka Mbete, the Speaker of Parliament, has issued about a couple of hours ago, that the motion of no confidence on President Jacob Zuma will be made in secret come tomorrow. All right, let's move on to the top stories making news headlines. This is News Today.